Kayuani Yohanene, Yohanene, Kayuani Yohanene, Yohanene.
Akwesasne TV's election coverage has been brought to you by
the Akwesasne Convenience Store Association, which is now located at the Mohawk Indian Housing and Community Building, 188 McGee Road, Akwesasne, 518-358-2229. The funding members are AK Gas and Tobacco, Another Damn Cigarette Store, Bear's Den, Big Boys, East End Convenience, Gustoa Gas and Tobacco, Mohawk Junction, Red Fox Gas, Speedway Convenience, Truck Stop Number 9, Twin Leaf Express, and Twin Leaf Gas and Tobacco.
Sego, welcome to Akwesasne TV's 2015 election coverage. Today we will be interviewing candidates who are vying for a seat in the St. Regis Mohawk Tribal Council. Today in studio we have Cheryl Jacobs, who is running for sub-chief.
Sego, Kit. Thanks for having me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Tell us a little about yourself and why you chose to run for sub-chief.
Well, I've decided to run for sub-chief basically because I was asked by community members a few months back to consider it. So I started considering it because I have been politically active as far as going to meetings for about the past year and a half or so. I've been doing a lot of studying at the meetings, trying to understand and get a good grasp on what the issues are. I sat back and I really evaluated where I'm at in my career today, and I also look at it from the perspective of wants versus needs. I don't need to run, but I want to run because the community has asked me to run. I'm going to refer to a few of my notes that I took to do some homework on this last night. And basically, like I said, I want to run because the community has asked me. I think the community has faith in my leadership abilities, and I'm into politics. I'm very, very into politics. So basically, I think I have a lot to offer as far as working for the people and to help our people with our collective problems. We do have a lot of problems that exist in the community, and most of all, I want to run because my heart is here in Akwesasne, and it'll always be here in Akwesasne working for our people.
All right. And what are your prior experiences working in civic, community, or governmental organizations?
Well, I could go back to when I was 16 years old. I started as a bingo caller in the community, and that led my career in volunteerism, working as far as a bingo caller at the time for our recreation committee. And then I volunteered throughout my life, basically as a coach for over 20 years. I was involved with the North American Indigenous Games for years. I came home as an undefeated gold medal coach. I volunteered in the Olympic torch run. I volunteer in a sense of helping contribute to golf tournaments, fundraising events. I recently volunteered with the Cancer Walk on Sunday. The Memorial Day I helped set up with the elders at the Gadali Center. I am a past president of the Three Nations Senior Men's Lacrosse League. I've currently sit as a volunteer as the Akwesasne Area Management Board Vice President. I'm the Vice President of the Mohawk Council of Akwesasne Management Employee Association. So I continue to just volunteer, and I step up to the plate when I'm called upon. Pretty much that's where I'm at right now, and my political background basically is I sat on the Mohawk Council of Akwesasne for 3 years. I participated in negotiations on the Enbridge settlement, and I think the most pride I have as far as a political leader was when I worked to ensure that we got the fan boat needed for the Hogansburg Akwesasne Volunteer Fire Department, and that was shortly after we lost 2 young kids in the community through drowning on the river. And the other pride for me is being resourceful, is sought out a private donation for our group home on Gawinoga at the time to get a brand new passenger van. And the money that was left over, because we worked out a good deal on purchasing it, the private donor gave us the money and said, utilize that money for however you guys see fit, and the youth were allowed to enjoy going to the Heart to Heart Fitness Center. I've also been involved with events that happen at the Heart to Heart Fitness Center, and a lot of cancer-related things I'm picking up on, because I do have 2 family members that have been afflicted by cancer. I just lost a brother, and I do have a sister in remission.
Wow. Busy.
I stay busy.
Yes, stay busy.
Yeah, I do.
Well, since you're an active member in the community, what would you perceive are the most important concerns facing Akwesasne today?
Well, while I've been out on the campaign trail for about the past 6 weeks, I've come to realize that I think one of the most important things that we have to take a serious look at as an entire community is the environmental health issues that are going on in our community. We have a serious rise in cancer. We have diseases that we've never heard of over the past 40 to 50 years that are on the rise, liver disease, our children being afflicted by autism, a variety of illnesses. And I think the environment that we live in the surrounding areas of the General Motors site over there to what's happening today with that cleanup, the environmental contaminants that has affected our air, our water, our fish, our land, our soil. I think as a government, we all have to step back and take a look at what needs to be done in those areas. And if it means conducting another health study, then we need to do it, because our studies haven't probably been done over the last 5 to, I'm not sure how many years. So that's one particular area that I'm seriously concerned about. Another area is they did a 2009 Akwesasne Comprehensive Community Development Plan. And what was identified in that plan were about 11 priorities, and I'm sure these areas are being worked on, but the question is to what degree. I mean, we have education, housing, employment, language and culture, health and social, governance, that is all captured in the study: justice, economy, land use and environment, youth and elders. But what we have to do is 2009, although it was only a few years away, we have to reevaluate where our priorities need to probably be shifted towards our energy in the direction on behalf of the community. So one of the second areas I think is very important would be the employment opportunities in the areas of economic development. So under economic development, I think the third area we should seriously look at is last year, June 2014, there was a cultural tourism strategy plan that was developed. So I think one of the areas of economic development we need to concentrate on is let's take a closer look and study the cultural tourism, what's being offered and what priorities were identified in that study. So I'd have to say the third area to look at is cultural tourism.
Okay. What areas of Akwesasne do you think present an opportunity for economic development and revitalization? And what would you consider an appropriate approach to that?
Well, I think when it comes to economic development opportunities, I think we first need to get a good understanding of what kind of land the tribe owns that may be available for development. A few months ago I went to the meeting and a tribal member brought up the ideal of the possibility of considering the whole marijuana issue. So if we're not ready for that yet, I think they need to look at researching the community's ideals as to the possibilities or viability of us venturing off into those areas in economic development. I think we have to get the community more involved in the process connected to looking at ventures. I'm not advocating right now for anything, no specific ideals or anything like that, but I'm saying let's at least start looking at researching these things. As far as engagement, I went to the last meeting on May 9th, and I believe the idea of solar energy projects was being researched by economic development. It was being introduced. So here we go again about the approaches of what we can do. So I think the #1 priority is us to go back and take a look at the whole studies that have been done locally, the 2 documents from 2009 and 2014. We need council to look at economic development and hold a community meeting on how do we want to prioritize what came out of these studies. And the approach basically is we need to have more engagement on these projects, and a good example is the agricultural projects or the IGA building that's sitting there. The IGA building that's been sitting there for some time now, they did do call-outs for what's the possibilities of using it for. We have to continue through with those, and sometimes our processes take a long time, but we need to look at the reality of what we could bring forth in hiring our natives and native contractors, trying to get our people employed for any projects that will continue on in the areas of economic development.
Right. And lastly, why should residents vote for you?
Well, that's an interesting question. But what I believe is why the community should vote for me is because I'm committed to the community. I've been committed all my life, as I described earlier. I stay involved with Akwesasne politics. I stay involved with volunteering. My heart's here in Akwesasne. It always is, and it always will be here. My educational and past political experiences, my educational endeavors, I think will contribute to making me the best candidate for sub-chief right now. I think people should vote for me because if they believe in my leadership abilities and becoming their voice at the table, then I think because I'm committed and dedicated, I'm hardworking and honest, I'm experienced, I'm ethical, and I'm educated, responsible and reliable. I'm very resourceful. I believe I'm young at heart, and I believe I'm leadership that the people can count on. I've learned to listen to the people now. Basically, I've done my homework as far as the election law and ethics ordinance and the Tribes Procedures Act, which basically identifies what my job description would be. And I do see this as a job. So in seeing it as a job, I believe that some of our policies and procedural type documents, amendments, laws, acts, ordinances, they do need to be looked at again, revisited, and some areas may need to change. And if I can work towards helping in that area of changing certain documents, laws, ordinance, acts, tribal ordinances, things like that, then that's what I would hope to accomplish. I'm very structured in my approach and how I work. So I think that's what makes me a good candidate in this year's election for tribal sub-chief. So I hope the people will come out and vote. You know, go to the people.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by, Cheryl.
I really appreciate your time.
Is there anything else you'd like to mention before we go?
Well, I think I just overlooked one area that I kind of should have probably touched on a little bit. I know it's a contentious issue, but I believe contentious issues need to be addressed by leadership. So the area of governance needs a closer look. And I think sometimes because we don't work together as an entire community with all three facets of our governments, that we need to start taking a closer look at the decisions that are being made now to the next 7 generations and the impact it will have. We need to work closer and together. I think one of the solutions is we can evaluate how things are done, how things are being run, and there's so many rumors that exist within our community that we have to go back to setting the facts straight. And if it means having more collective 3 government meetings publicly, then let's do it. Let's try something different. There's nothing wrong with being looked upon as an innovative, creative, adaptive leader. And I believe that I can offer some of that to the community. And I think the last part is I take this job seriously. I take it very seriously because it is a big responsibility to take on, and I also look at it from the perspective of I can bring humor to things too, because I do have a great sense of humor, and sometimes people don't always see that, but the people that do know me in the community, they know I got a great sense of humor. I've touched base with the Director of Health, and I've spoke to him, I had some questions presented to him. I believe that I will be touching base with the vast majority of directors with the tribe, just to get a good feel and understanding of what's going on as far as their programs and services and what's being made available to the community. So I think that was probably the only thing that I didn't touch on. So tuknigo, and I really appreciate the support of the community at this point in the 6 weeks I've been at this, knocking on doors. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you for stopping in again.
I appreciate it.
Nyama, thanks for watching. This is Kit Thomas, Akwesasne TV.
Yo